Hey all, welcome back. I'm Jeff with Pro Diesel Repair. Yes, that is Pro Diesel Repair. But we do a lot of things. We got classic cars, we've got somewhat modern cars, and we've got old antique tractors. If something like that interests you, then you might want to subscribe to the channel, because we're going to have some videos popping up with this old 1938, 39 John Deere model AR. But today we're doing a little bit of work to the 1979 Continental. We are going to, I'm going to show you how to remove the rear door panel so that you can access, if you've got problems with your power door locks or your power windows, or even if you had linkage issues with the inside or the external door latches or door handles, whatever. It's always nice to know how to take that stuff apart, because it's old, it's delicate, and we don't want to break anything as we pull it apart. So it's kind of nice to know the exact procedure on how to take it apart. And since I've done it before and I know about it, I'm going to show you all how to do it. And one other thing we're also going to do is we're going to show you how to grease and lube up your window tracks. That way, even though your window might be rolling up and down, it might be struggling, which is hard on your motors, it's hard on the gears, and we'll do a little grease that up so that way we can keep that window rolling up and down freely. This car has the power door locks. I can feel it trying to work, and it's just not going up and down with the electric switch. Probably just going to need to lubricate some parts and stuff in there and check, make sure things aren't binding up, but let's get to it. So let's get a different camera view and move along. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this rear door panel off of here, because this door lock doesn't work. It tries to. I can feel it clicking, but I suspect it's probably because it's really hard to move. As you can see, a lot of color in my thumb right there, and pulling it up and down. It's not easy like this one. Like this one, I can push it down with just my pinky like that. There's no chance in doing that on this one at all. So the mechanism's right back in here, but you got to access it through in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take this apart so that we can get in there and have a look-see. Okay, so first thing you do is this deal unscrews. Take the cap off of this for the handle for the little latch for the door locks. It just unscrews and threads off. The reason for that is because this nub right here doesn't fit through the hole. So set it aside and take a Phillips screw driver, and there's a screw right here. Just a short little one there. Set it aside. This cover kind of comes off. Kind of pull the door lever out with your finger. Slide it out like so. And that will allow these to pop out. There's tabs and stuff there. So hopefully you can see that. They just kind of slide in like this, and they just kind of press in place like that. These are metal. Not that it matters, but they just are. They just pull them off like that. But you always start on this end. You don't want to do it on this end, because you'll break these little springs off of here. So, and in here, okay, in here we've got 3/8 bolts. There's one here and there's one in here. There we go. There's one. I'll try to get the right angle, but trust me, it's in there. Just, it's pretty much exactly like that one. I can't get the light to show. Anyways, it's in there, trust me. This will all stay in here. But before you get to these bolts here, we got to get this out. And so to lift that up, you're going to have 2 Phillips screws right in here. You can pull this out, you don't have to. But we got 2 Phillips screws, one there and one there. We'll get that out. It just picks up out of here, like about like that. And you can see where your wires go. See that plastic cross member right there? You can see that the wires for the switch go on that side of it, and the wires for the cigarette lighter on the other side of it. Wires for the cigarette lighter, you got one, if you can see this one here, just unplug it, and then both of these, you got one here with a like a spade terminal. I'll show you this, and then this one right here just unplugs. It's a round terminal that comes off. See, like, so you got the one with the spade terminal and the round terminal. Round terminal just kind of snaps onto there, and the spade terminal goes right there. And then the next thing we need to do is we got 2 Phillips screws, one here and one there. That will take that switch out of this whole deal here, and we can get that out of the way. Try to block your view. I never use any power tools or anything like that. Just try to be delicate with this stuff. You know, what is it, a 40-year-old car, give or take? 41, I think. You want to be delicate with everything, so that comes out. Comes out like that, so this is totally free to... Now this can, I usually just leave this in place. It doesn't really matter because the switch is actually smaller than the base. So just leave it like that. Kind of shove these wires, shove everything kind of down in here, because that's where it's going to have to come out. And now now we can put these bolts here and in here. They are 3/8. You need a little bit of an extension. You know, since we're using like a little power drill, would be real nice, but I just don't do it on these older cars. But just kind of a screw, 3/8 head on it, and I'm gonna turn the camera just a bit and get this other one out of here. If you have a ratchet like this, which I really love these ratchets, just a swivel head ratchet, you know, because you can break the torque and then you can literally just do what I did, like this. You can either do it like this or all the way around. Pretty much makes it almost a power tool. Okay, now okay, the next thing is you're going to have some deals like this, and they are going to be all along the outer part of this deal, and I cannot remember how many of them there are, but it goes all the way around. And I use a tool like this. It's just kind of a pry bar, and I like to get, because this is going to be in here like this, and this is actually going to get like kind of like clipped into cardboard. We'll see it in here in a little bit, but if you just pull on the door, a lot of times what will happen is the card, well, I'll show you that when I get to it. I like to get this thing, you know, as close in here as I can, and what that does is it goes in between here and kind of shoves it, and it pops it out really nice. And so I'll show you that kind of, you kind of just have to get in here and find it, and look if you can't remember where they are, and very just gently just work it. Then you can get it pulled off from inside of here, and I'll show you how to do this. I'll get it pulled off, and I'll show you how to snap them back in place later on. Okay, that one will just leave in there. Hardest one's going to be your first one that you do. And I don't know if we have any more. There's going to be another one up top here. If you're really gentle, you can get it started going and you can see where it is. But let's see if I can get this light in here. Hopefully that can be, kind of just get this in here like this, and you just pop it out all the way around. Do every single one of them. Once you get down here and you start getting this thing pulled away, you can see them a lot better. Now I'm not seeing the one that is up there. It is. It's loose. Okay. So then you got the whole thing loose. Kind of just pick up on it. You got to get it kind of lifted up. Let's see if your camera view is showing what I'm doing. Kind of get it lifted up a little bit. If it's been on for a long time, it's going to be kind of stuck. And then it just lifts out. And then you're going to kind of slide it forward to get the handle to clear. And then once you get it out of here, because you stuff these down in here, then it just, everything comes out. And you can set it inside of here. There's the back side of it, has all these deals. Like this one came out and did come out through, and this is kind of like almost like real soft particle board, almost like cardboard in a way. Luckily it came out. It should still hold pretty good, but as you can see, this just slides out. You know, that hole's bigger, and they slide in here. And if you get them stuck in the door, which I don't, I got them out, if they do get stuck in the door, you'll have to pull them out and put them back in here, because you'll need all of these in place when you go back together with it. And so this part right here, you know, it's somewhat, looks like it's somewhat glued in place, and this is all going to depend on what type of repairs have been made over the years as to how this looks. To me, this looks pretty standard factory. Maybe the tape isn't, I don't know. It's very old. It's like masking tape, so I bet you it's probably not factory, but it is extremely old. There's a little bit of glue back behind here. You know, some of this stuff is, this paper is for sound, you know, keeping the sound and stuff out. And yeah, there's some glue on the back side of here, so you just kind of want to be as careful as you can pulling it away so you don't rip it. You know, it's fairly strong paper, but yeah, so that tape's just so damn brittle. And what we're running into is it's peeling off the back side of this, but sometimes you can take something like your pry bar and get it started in here. That way you don't see, we got a lot of that still, you know, it's ripped, but it's still intact on here. Just kind of pull it away. And I got it pretty much loosened, so you can get it off of here. Set you guys down so I can use two hands, get this away from here. Away. All right. And it's not too bad on this back door getting into here. So here's your latch for the door lock. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell. We're gonna have to get this window up. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that, and we'll do that. I'll show you how everything kind of works. So I'll pause this for a second. All right, we'll get this window up. Oop, that's your light switch that turns on that light when you're the lucky SOB sitting in the back cruising around. Okay, so we're gonna go up with the window. And then later on I'll show you what to do to lubricate all this up. So let's see if we can get some good views of the locking mechanism. Stick this light in here, and we'll try to get in here to show you. There's your window motor and there's a big gear right there. And I was wondering if you're able to see. That's me pushing down on the lock, pushing up on the lock. I've got another view of that. So bear with me, folks. I'm trying my best to film this. So if you follow this rod down, it comes right in here. It's me pushing down on the lock and now pulling it back up. So you're going to have a little bit of linkage. And then, so as we go back, we follow that linkage all along here. Goes up to that deal right there. So here's me pushing down. See what's also happening to your actuator motor. Okay. Let's see if we can make it. That's all your locking mechanisms right there. This one is operating the door handle inside of here. See that one with the, it's kind of a reddish color. Okay. Now this is me operating the handle on the outside. I'm pushing in that part right there. There's a lot of little, it's kind of cool in a way. So thought I'd just show you that. And you know, well, you kind of got an idea as to what's kind of happening. Show you for a little bit. I don't know how long I can show this. I really like to show the window. Okay, it's getting in the way of my camera. That motor just kind of turns on those gear teeth. Okay, that's about all I can do to show that view because that part right there was closing in on me when I was holding the camera in. So I'm going to leave this thing up, leave the light in there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lube this all up here. I'm going to put some grease in here, and then I'm also going to spray some kind of like some penetrating oil all around there and try to get it freed up a little bit. Another thing we'll do is I'll reach in here and actuate the lock. It's trying to work, it's just not actually doing it. The way that motor works, well, I say it's a motor because this is a motor. It spins one way and it spins the other way, and then it's got threads on the end of that, like that rod there, and as the motor turns, it threads the rod up or down to make that lock work. It's not like a solenoid. I don't know if they just didn't have them back then or what. This is just how they did it. So you've only got 2 leads going to this, and your switch is going to be making positive in one of these wires and a negative in the other wire to make it go one way, and then it's reversing the polarity to go into the other way. So if you're troubleshooting not having one of these things, you can unplug this. This plug will pull up out here where you can get a meter to it and try to figure out, you know, if you've got a bad actuator motor there. If you're troubleshooting that, we don't appear to. It could be weak, but since this is so hard to operate, we're just going to lube that stuff up in there and make it work. I usually just spray a bunch of this stuff. Oh, we don't got a good can, do we? There's lots of different ways to do this, but I just like to get this really soaked up with this stuff. And you know, it's gonna run down there. You're gonna have to wipe it all up. You can even come, but see, if we've got a lot of it in here now. And the reason I like using this actual like penetrating oil is like WD-40 tends to evaporate and stuff. Get all that wiped off. Let's get all clean there. And we'll wipe that stuff off on the inside here a little bit, but see if this, oh yeah, it's a lot easier now. See that stuff moving there, back and forth, still dripping out because we're actuating and moving everything. So here's the, see that red end? That's me doing the door latch here. I thought maybe this is a little bit better view, but as you can see, it's moving that, and it's moving that deal up with the yellow. But that's the part, you know, because you're operating the same thing. You hear me go. That's me pushing from outside here. And this is even a lot easier to do now. And this is even a lot easier, and this is back and forth now. A lot easier. Okay, I'm gonna sit right in here because I have to reach up there and actuate the door lock. There we go. Working now. Okay, we are working now, so let's go ahead and to show you guys, to show you all how to grease the or what you can do to grease the window track. Okay, so what I do is I just get a little bit of grease. I'm just happen to use wheel bearing grease. It really doesn't matter what you use. Or not, this grease is good enough for wheel bearings. It's going to be good enough for this. And so come in here, and you saw that big gear, right? We're going to kind of just put some grease, and I really cannot film this that well. I'll try to, but you just kind of smear the grease all along those teeth in here. The window all the way up, you can have all of them exposed. You just kind of throw some grease there, and then I also run my hand down this kind of like a tube almost. I don't know if I can, there we go. You just kind of do a film of grease all along in here, all the way to the bottom. There we go. I'm just going to smear it all over some of the old stuff there. Not that it matters, but as the thing tracks down, it'll smear around where it needs to also. Good old shit. Get another dab of it on my fingers here. Now we will roll the window down and we'll get some in here. So what we'll do is go ahead and put the window down a little bit more. Actually, get it up here like this. We'll put a small dab of it in here. Actually, probably put a large dab of it in here. Like that. Because when this thing comes down, sorry if I didn't have that in view before, as that comes down, see it gets in there. And then next we'll get a little bit back behind here. Matter of fact, it's easier to get to when it's up here like so. Get it all the way, you know, in this track and everything. You want to get it down inside of here. Light out here. Go all the way down with it. Working really nice. You could even put a little bit up in here as you get it down. Just be careful not to smudge it on the window itself when you're doing this right here. Just a little bit that helps prolong the life of all the movable parts in here. Okay. Next step is now get it all put back together. I usually start with the window back all the way down. Doesn't really matter, but do that way. I'm going to turn this key off. You don't have to turn the key to the on position. If yours works, you can turn it all the way back to the accessories. That'll make the windows work. Okay, get this paper put back on here. So just kind of pull all your wiring through. It's pretty sticky in a lot of places. I left that tape in place so I can kind of get a guide as to where it's used to be. Okay. Get this lined up. I'm going to just use some black electrical tape. If you want these holes in the paper, centered as best you can. For all of your holes for the, obviously that side is sagging down, that's why it's not looking like it. We'll get this side started up here first. This exactly lined up how it used to be. couple small pieces. Down here. And then there's your hole for the screw goes into there that we took out on that front side. The other one's over here. That screw will go through the paper if it's not quite lined up. Get these kind of these tabs a little bit. That'll kind of. At first I folded them up, but that's not right. They kind of go. If it's original to what is in here, kind of flip down in there, kind of helps hold it a little bit. Okay, got all that in place. Next thing we do is we want to make sure we got all of these things on here. Slide them in place, tug on them a little bit, make sure they're going to stay. Make sure all of them are slid down in the smaller holes. These all look good. Okay, this part's kind of got a lip where my hand is right there. And that's how come that, you know, it's got to go up and then kind of down. So put this, line it up. Usually start the, can you see the, usually start this through the hole, get it up into position. It just kind of hangs here. And then you can start, go ahead and put your switches, starting them coming through. And then, oh, I totally forgot. Okay, so first thing you gotta do is you gotta slide this forward, get your door latch coming in, and then now you're gonna have to, it gets a little tricky. That started, this started in here. Then you can kind of pull this back a little bit, and you want your door latch to be in there like that. That to be, you know, caught in here. You know, there's no way I can pull this way. It's all in here. And then you can line these deals up with their holes. Shove them into place. I have to pull that one back out again. And I got to pull your wiring up through. Remember that the wiring for the switch went up through on this side. And then your wiring for the cigarette lighter come up through this side. That way you can, then you just kind of push on all these. Once you get it to that point, they usually, if you got the paper lined up good, they usually start pretty good into where they're supposed to go. Just kind of push them all in place. And you can kind of just pull all along here, like this one didn't get, there we go. Now she's like, just kind of run your hand all along here, and it shouldn't pull out at all. If it does, and you know that you don't have one snapped in. Oh yeah, it's snapped in. Get our screws started. See, you can just run this ratchet pretty easily like this, and it goes right in. Long ways in there, so that's why I started like this. It's because it's a ways back in there. Never get the screw started with your fingers. Let's see what I'm doing here. Okay, so just run your finger all the way along here, double check, pull on this, pull on that, make sure everything feels solid. I usually run the window up and down before I get any farther. All looks good. By the way, this window's rolling down a lot better. It used to get about a third of the way, 2/3 of the way, and in the last bit of it, it was really struggling. Same with getting up, and it's now working really, really good. All this greasing up. I'm going to try the door lock. There we go, locked, unlocked, locked, unlocked. Perfect. All we needed to do on this one was just lubricate that up a little bit. The next thing is, I think we'll get, well, that can be the last thing to do is put that in. It doesn't really matter. So we'll get these trim pieces on here. Now these are different. You see that's a complete, obviously one's longer than the other, but this one up here has got this angle, so it's the one that goes back here. And then so you just kind of, I'll show you a little bit better, closer camera angle. Hold on, let me switch hands here. Okay, so these little tabs just go into here. You can get it all lined up like that. The other part, trying to get where you can see this, and this is going to push in, this tab right here is going to push on that part where my finger's at right there, and it just snaps in, and it should stay. So that's exactly how we do it. Same with this side. Let's get this started on this side. And in here, and it just snaps in place. This has to come off first, and it has to go on last, or else you'll never get these off correctly. But you see what I did there is I pulled the lever out. You can hold it with your hand in here like this, and just slide this in here, and then switch your hand, get this one out, let it come out there like that, and then you just put this in place. And I usually run this before I put the screw in there, just make sure everything looks good. Remember, it was just this little one here. Get it started up in here. They don't need to be 50 gorilla pounds tight. The stuff's delicate and old, so you want to be real gentle with it when you can. Just make sure it all works. At this point, I usually try the door. Make sure that, oh, it closes and opens great. all lubing that stuff up just really helped. Okay, now this part, get you guys a little closer here, bear with me. Okay, so this was the long wire right here, which goes like that. And you got the one with the spade terminal. Goes on the one with the spade. The one with the round goes on the one with the round. No more easier than that. So now the other part of this that I've done before, or almost did, was you can install this backwards. Now your screw holes don't line up, but you know, you don't want to get this far and then, you know, get it shoved down. You want to make sure it's right, so it's labeled window light. But if you do turn it around, you'll know it right away, because your screws won't line up. That's how you'll know you did that wrong. But it's easy enough to tell. There's your window. Screws tighten up. They just need to be just snug. You remember I told you about the wires, and how these wires needed to be on this side. Now it doesn't matter when they're down here, because that part's going to go down. But these need to be in here, in front of this cross member there. That's what I call it. And then just delicately guide everything through. I don't force it, just kind of be delicate, like your very first virgin girlfriend. Did I say that out loud? Oh man. Get these screws started here. They're just barely snug. And we'll slide the ashtray back in. It just snaps in. Snap that down. Try the window again. The reason I do that is just, you know, if all of a sudden something doesn't seem right, you know, you kind of know when you get to this point that you can start taking it apart again. So this just screws on here as far as it can go. You want to get it towards, when it's all the way up like it is now, that it's, you know, down below this, so it doesn't, this moves around and there's nothing you can do about it. You don't want it to catch. So this is there. Locked, unlocked. And we'll go and try the door lock. Locked, unlocked, locked. Perfect. So that locked and open. unlocked. Now we can open. Then we'll just come in here and try make sure everything works good. Oh man, these things work great. Got the light. This is the left switch for the light. Oh, the window's fast. Doesn't catch at all. And remember, the car's not running, so it'll actually be a little bit better when it's charging. So, perfect. Okay, so there's how to take apart the, take off the rear door panel so you can fix things in there. You know, it's always nice to know how to take them things apart, because like I said, everything's old and delicate. Be careful, don't force anything, and you know, but just it's nice to have a guide, and that's why I made this out, you know, to teach people how to do it. That way, you know, you don't break stuff and have to replace it, because you know, if you love these cars like I do, you know, I want this thing to look as best as it possibly can for as long as it possibly can, and that's why I want everything to function, and I also want, you know, everything to look good and last as long as it possibly can. So that's why I'm putting out these videos. Make sure you check out a couple of videos I've done on the power seats. There's a potential fire hazard with the switches and lots of other problems that go on with the power seats, and check those out. You can learn how to do. We're going to still do another power seat video, do a complete full service on the system, which is something you should do even if yours are working correctly, such as the ones in these cars. They work perfect, but we just want to do a little bit more to ensure that they work really good for a long time yet. So 40-year-old car, want it to last another 40 years, give or take. So with that, thanks for watching.